I'm Tim.
And we are the Grumpy Old Men. That's right.
Yes, we are.
We are back again. I want to talk today about something that happened this weekend at my daughter's volleyball tournament. I saw two things that I'd never think I would ever see. One amazing, one tragic, but it just got me thinking a lot, and I'd like to discuss that towards the end of this program. But what do you got for us, Tim?
Oh, we can do that. Well, for those of you that don't know, we're kind of like the yin and yang. You know, I'm the black cloud. I got a lot of stuff about the skies falling, and Eric's the ray of sunshine that, you know, keeps us straight and keeps us talking about the happy things. Because, you know, sometimes I might be all doom and gloom. So I do, you know, I definitely want to continue to talk about that Ohio train derailment, because that's taking a turn. And then, you know, I might hit him a little bit on the balloon, but I really want to get into the balloon episode next week, because there's some stuff going on with China that they're not telling us. But that'll be a more in-depth broadcast for our next episode.
We're going to have all the people in their basements with their ham radios listening to us. That's what it sounds like.
Hey, well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there ain't nothing wrong with having a ham radio. You never know what might happen.
That's right. Next to the giant cans of Spam and tuna and the water in the basement.
If it comes with Spam, then I'm in trouble, because I've never been acquired a taste for that. So I'm not sure why.
You could fry it. You can do whatever you want to it. We went to an air show long time ago, and they had a Spam truck out there with Spam sandwiches. I couldn't even. One bite about threw up in my damn mouth. It's miserable.
Yeah. I tried it one time, and for anybody out there that has tried it and liked it, please email us. Eric, I think you got the email that we got up.
Yeah, it's just info at grumpyoldmen.com. You can shoot us an email. You can see us on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and you can see at the bottom of the screen all those handles there and at the top. Yeah. Look, if you disagree with something we say, or you're on board with it, or whatever, we want to hear from you. Look, that's what's going to keep this train rolling down the tracks. No pun intended, because Tim wants to talk about one that's not on the tracks anymore. But
well, that is true. It's definitely not on the tracks anymore. So yes, if you like Spam or don't like Spam, I'd love to hear from you, because I'm like you. I've never been able to eat it, fried or whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, and I want to hear why you like it.
Oh,
I don't need to hear why you don't like it, because we all know why you don't like it. I want to hear why you like it, because anybody that can get past that glob of coagulated fat that comes out with it, it's just, it's absolutely
You can't even
disgusting.
fry that out. It doesn't work. It doesn't fry out.
It's made to sustain for I've got to look up the shelf life on Spam. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go down this road.
Oh, really? You're going down that rabbit hole right now?
Over under. What do you think? I haven't looked it up yet.
On the shelf life?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
let's say 10 years over, 5 years over or under.
I'm gonna say under. I'm not gonna say that people haven't kept it longer than that, but I'm gonna say, according to the can, it's under.
It's 5 years.
Really?
Right on the money.
Wow. We both would have lost.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it
5
says
years.
3 to 5 years, assuming that the quality seal has not been breached and the can is oh my gosh. That just, if it can last that long, it can't be good for, we know it's not good for you.
So do you really want to eat Spam from 2017? Much less 2023?
Yeah, no, I don't want to eat spam. Yeah, absolutely not. Like, hey, no, it's still good. It's got a few months left on it. But that was like 4.5 years ago. No.
Yeah, but you boil the impurities out of water. You know, if you need drinking water, like you were talking about, people in their basement when the skies fall, and you can boil water and get the impurities out. Fire don't work for Spam. I'm sorry.
If you can't heat it up hot enough to where it gets out the impurities, I don't want it. I absolutely don't want it.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, I don't watch the news, and that's why you're going to be the yin and I'm going to be the yang, because you bring me all the news stories. I get to hear them for the first time, and it's kind of exciting. And I want to hear your crazy ass theories about what's going on with them as well, and so does everybody else out there. So let's go talk about this train derailment. What is going on? What is happening? What have you heard?
Well, first of all, everybody knows there was a train derailment in Ohio, and before I get into that, there was actually another explosion today about 13 miles southwest of Cleveland. There was a metal factory that blew up. So Ohio has just had another factory blow up either today or yesterday. So I want to know, first of all, what's going on Ohio. But that's kind of down a rabbit hole. I just actually saw that in a clip today before we came on. So It's kind of strange. But first of all, did you know, fact imitating life, did you know there was a Netflix movie about a train derailment in actually Palestine, Ohio?
No.
Yes.
Was it fiction?
Yes. With Netflix, I think it's called White Noise. Some of the extras in the movie for Netflix are actually from Palestine. It is about, I think, a
Hold
truck.
on.
No, really.
So all right. So they made a movie on Netflix about
Correct.
a train derailment in Ohio.
Correct.
And now it actually happened.
Correct.
In the same spot?
Some of the movie extras in that Netflix series are from Palestine, which is the town this happened in.
But the train derailment wasn't in Palestine or Palestine, however the hell you say it.
I think it was in Ohio. I'm not sure if I have to check where the town was.
What was the name of the movie?
I think it's White Noise on Netflix.
2022 absurdist comedy drama film written and directed by Noah. I don't know. I don't think that's the right one. Does it have Adam Driver in it?
I'll look that up. That just came to me when I was doing, but it's actually no. I actually think it was like 2017, 2018, because there were some people on there talking about it. But let's talk about the train derailment for a minute. So you've got the Mayor DeWine, who's calling for the federal government to step in and declare this a national disaster, and the federal government saying no. FEMA says it doesn't qualify for a national disaster. First of all, where is John Kerry? Where is Al Gore? Where's what is her name? Greta Thunberg, screaming up and down about all the pollutants they've just put in the air and in the water and everything else. They said a word. I mean, what do you think about that?
But so what was it, a passenger train or was it a?
No, it's a tanker car is full of chemicals.
I told you I don't know shit. I don't watch the news.
Okay, so
like
it's a
coal and
no, it's like some gases, some liquid, some kind of chloride, ethyl chloride, and all kind of stuff. Anyway, one of the chemicals they used actually used in World War I to kill people.
What was the mustard gas or
So think of it as mustard gas, but all these chemicals are in these tanker cars. You've seen the placards going down the railroad. They've got hey, corrosive or whatever the case may be. And then it derailed because they had a brake system that was bad on it. So one of the axles on one of the trailers or one of the cars malfunctioned, which caused it to derail. And all these chemicals were leaking into the ground. And they decided they were going to blow it up. Let's have a controlled explosion to limit or mitigate what was going on. Not EPA hadn't done it. Said that they just decided this was Norfolk Southern that they decided they were going to do this. So
all this shit leaked out in the ground.
Yep.
And they
into the streams.
Blowing it up would eliminate the problem.
Right. And you've got people, and you can see them on YouTube, but you've got people, from towns miles away and towns driving back and forth talking about the mushroom cloud and the stuff that they're breathing in. But what's getting me is the federal government has not said a word. It's on the news and you see it, but why haven't they stepped in? Where is FEMA? When's the last time you've seen FEMA not want to take over something? Exactly. You can spill syrup on the Waffle House floor and all of a sudden you've had contaminants and they want to step in and take over.
Well, let's be honest. They need to go in there anyway. Whether you spill syrup on the floor, have you seen the inside of a Waffle House? Oh,
come on now. The Waffle House is a staple down here.
We have it here. We also have Huddle House, which is like a knockoff. What this whole thing needs is, and I really hope you get this reference. It needs John Travolta to come in and get justice for the people in Ohio for this train derailment. Have you seen that movie? What the hell was it?
Yes, I did. I can't remember the name of that movie.
Was it Rainmakers?
That may be right, but it also reminds me of Aaron Brockovich. I wish somebody would take a cup of water and set it on the table to them and say, you know what? If the government's telling the people of Palestine and the surrounding area, everything's fine. They've got fish floating on the streams. You've got reporters up there that are scraping streams, and you actually can see how gasoline and oil sits on top of water. what that looks like, that film, that silky film. They're scraping the bottom of the streams, and you can see the stuff bubbling up, and then you just got this film on top of the water. But they're telling them, oh, it's fine, not a big problem, nothing to worry about here, nothing to see over here. And I want them to drink the water.
It's so okay. So they're not allowing it to be called a national disaster.
Correct. So it's not. They're not classifying as a national disaster. So FEMA doesn't have to step in. And the reason I think they're doing this is because they want to. They went around some of the Norfolk Southern, which was the rail company, and a few others. Hey, we're going to test your house. We're going to test the inside of your house, run some samples on some water. They were actually trying to get them to sign a waiver. Think of hold harmless agreement. Basically, hey, we're going to do this, but you can't hold us accountable for what happened. And they were saying, you can get the hell off my lawn, bro.
But I find that hard to believe that well, first of all, I find it hard to believe they allowed that explosion. But that's crazy. Like, why? No. Yeah. Normally, FEMA is the first person there to start setting up their trailers.
Exactly.
And,
American Red Cross is showing up. Everything. They have yet to do any of that.
What about
this has been going on for what now? 2.5 weeks.
So was it in a very heavily populated area?
No. It was a very red, conservative, voted for Trump and Republican area.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying. It may not mean it may not mean a damn thing, but this is a very conservative, small town area, and it may have no bearing on it whatsoever. I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just that I just are trying to figure out why are they not saying anything? Why are they not wanting to step in and help? I mean, because let's think about it. You've seen the Nord Stream pipeline blow up, right? We'll get into that another time. But you're going to have to.
I told you I don't watch the news.
Okay, so you just had a natural gas line in the Baltic Sea that blew up. A natural gas line that blew up, and they still don't know who did this. When this is going, I don't really want to go down this rabbit hole right now because I think I've got a pretty good idea. But there's only about 5 countries in the world that could pull that off. But this gas line is owned by Russia and helps supply gas to Europe. And somebody blew it up. It blew up last week. So it's no longer operational. But look, wait a minute. The New York Times wrote an article. They're saying that they wrote an article about the Palestine derailment saying, hey, there's nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. It's all conspiracy theorists that the government's not trying to do anything about it, blah, blah. But the pipeline blew up in the middle of the ocean, which has natural gas, not chemicals, natural gas. And they was like, oh, this is a big EPA disaster. What's going on? We got to get to the bottom of this. I mean, this a little weird, don't you think?
Yes, that's very strange. And if some guys in suits show up at my door because of all this shit you're yapping and we're putting it out to the world with a little brain eraser, I'm going to be pissed. Well,
just know, we ain't even got deep yet, man. We'll wait till later on in further episodes. We'll get a little heavy. Like I said, I'm the dark cloud. But just so you know, you was talking about dark suits. If you ever wake up one day and hear that I committed suicide, I'm not suicidal, okay? I did not do that.
Yeah, well, I watch a lot of crime TV. I'll come down and figure it out. I got your back.
Well, you and my wife, she'll join you because that's all she watches is Dateline, NBC, and all the crime shows. I don't
watch those. I watch like the NCISs and the Chicago PDs.
No, she watched How to Identify a Psychopath and Traits of a Psychopath and Murder, Fear Thy Neighbor. So. No,
she'll be my first. She'll be my first suspect then, since she knows how to get rid of a body.
She always tells me. So if you come to my house and there's a new pickleball court in the backyard, if there's a newly fresh poured cement that she's playing pickleball, just stand on it with a bourbon or a beer and give me a toast because I'm probably buried up underneath it somewhere.
Get one of the. I just saw this on. I think it was. What show it was on? Chicago something. Anyway, they were. Oh, it was on a show called Bull on CBS, but they had this machine that was like the underground radar. So like, I'll just run that thing over the cement and see if it pings any bodies down below.
Well, if you do, don't say nothing because she may build a second one and have you beside me. So just like I said, just toast me.
I won't. Yeah. All right. So I found this. You were right. It was white noise. Photos show the eerie parallels between the Ohio train derailment and the Netflix movie, which was filmed in the state the year before. Carrying toxic chemicals, derailed and caught fire.
Reminds me of The Simpsons, because The Simpsons always run episodes with stuff that winds up happening. We need to do that one day, love. We'll dig up all the Simpson episodes that I think that you can probably find that on YouTube, or if you check a few other places.
Oh,
people
yeah,
have
all the similarities,
that.
like presidential elections and all this stuff happening. And I totally, But here, I'm going to share this real quick. Maybe. Yeah.
You just thought you were. There we go.
Yeah, so shows the parallels between the Ohio. So that's the actual one.
Yeah, that's when they blew it up. That's the controlled burn they needed to do.
Yeah, so let's see. And that's the white noise.
Anyway,
it's a 1985 book, but the movie it says 2022.
I actually think some of the people from the Palestine town were extras in the movie.
No, it's possible. Maybe they asked them, but I guess they wouldn't know. But you're right. I mean, that's it can't be. It's a train derailment movie and a train derailment happening would be a coincidence. It happening in the same exact spot.
Yeah, it's a little
same state. Okay. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, because I'm like you. If we have a movie, we have movies about car wrecks all the time, and those happen. So yeah, but it's just a little eerie, and going back to the federal government, why the governor of Ohio has asked for federal help. Where's, do you even know who? Let me ask you this: you know who the Secretary of Transportation is?
No, I don't even know who the Secretary of State is, man. Come on.
Okay.
I told you, I live in a very sheltered world, and I rely on you to tell me who these people are.
Okay.
Wait. I really don't know who the Secretary. I thought that was a joke, but I really don't know who it is. I don't know. No idea.
Okay. Well, the Secretary of Transportation is a guy by the name of Pete Buttigieg. He is.
I've heard that name. He's the Secretary of Transportation?
He's the Secretary of Transportation. Yes.
Cool.
Well, the problem is he hadn't even been there. So you've got I think the railroad is considered a form of transportation, don't you think?
Well, yes, and I'm sure he oversees all the stuff for railroads and everything else, but he also is a prissy White House dude who doesn't want to go inhale all the shit that he's not concerned about the residents inhaling.
You have a very valid point there, my friend, because Mr. Pete and, Godfrey, he is affirmative action at work. He is. So I'm off. Before I say this, I'm not down on, gay or lesbian or anything. People can live the way they want to live their life. But Pete is not hired on merit. Pete was hired because they stood up and go, we need a gay man to make my cabinet, be very
diverse.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for. So, we're not going to pick Eric, who's had 22 years in, transportation, or we're not going to pick Tim that could have, 30 years in transportation. We're going to pick Mr. Pete in the back because he's a gay white man. So he has.
It happens. It's affirmative action is a real thing. It really is. People fill some vacancies, and that happens all over, not just the White House, but it happens everywhere when the better candidate sometimes is not picked because they need to check a stupid box because we all get butthurt so easy.
100% agree with you. 100%. But this goes back to why this country's going down the tubes. Still the best, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, but the last couple of years, and I think most of the people watching this will agree, especially if you're a Gen Xer and you're watching this, where we're headed. We're spiraling out of control. But he is yet to go there. He is yet to show up.
He doesn't want to inhale all that shit that's out there. And I was actually talking, he's inhaling something else. I just was talking to a volleyball parent this weekend about all that. And, we touched on that last time, too, about all the social medias and how much in trouble we'd be in if there was proof of some of the shit we've done.
Oh, we agree.
But it also spills over into everything everything being put under such a big microscope now because we have social media, because we can see everything, and people have to post videos of riots and everything else. And that just, just stick to posting pictures of your fucking dinner. You know what I mean? Like, just stop.
Yeah, but that doesn't get, your dinner doesn't go viral.
No, it doesn't. And that's it, right? Oh my gosh, I'm going to catch this thing the celebrity's doing and everything. There were so few celebrity scandals and everything else before social media.
They did them. The scandals were there. They just didn't get caught at it. So
that's it. That's like when somebody says, not all 16-year-olds are having sex. Yeah, they are. It's the pregnant ones that got caught. But
exactly.
It's shit. My daughter's 16. I'm going to retract that statement. But it's crazy. It's crazy because we amplify things because people need attention because their parents aren't giving it to them, and now we're at. That's it, plain and simple.
And it's unfortunate. Like I said before, I wish we could go back to our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was, in my opinion, it was so much better off back then.
You ride a bike, disappear all day, come back with street lights on. It was a simple days. Make sure your homework was done, and that was it. You got in fights nobody knew about. You got in trouble that nobody knew about. And it's absolutely crazy. Ooh, speaking of getting in trouble, and I don't have time for this, but next episode, I need to talk about the time I got caught stealing. And I was like 12 at the A&P grocery store.
Oh, that's funny because I got caught stealing a pack of gum when I was 10 at the drugstore next to the Piggly Wiggly from my grandparents' house.
Yeah, I'm not proud of this. I was stealing cigarettes. Either. I was stealing cigarettes at 12, 13 maybe 13.
Yeah. I know I stole a pack of gum and they called my grandparents. Of course, back then you live in the community, everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, I didn't sit down for a week and didn't ever steal another pack of gum.
My parents never found out because I'll just tell the story real quick. So I got caught stealing cigarettes. The manager pulled me in. He said, "What is your name?" I gave him my friend's name, who I knew were out of town, their phone number, their landline, right? Because there were no cell phones back then.
No, that's
smart. He called and it rang and it rang and it rang. No voicemail or no voice.
Your answering machine.
That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, no answering machine picked up. So he's just like, "All right, well, I guess we're going to have to let you go. But I'm going to keep calling your parents and blah, blah, blah." So I left. And I saw my buddy at school and I was like, if your parents get a call from the A&P, just tell them you don't know. Because they didn't, there's no IDs. He didn't take my ID or anything. I just told him a fake. I gave him my buddy's name and that was it. I made up the name, gave him the buddy's phone number. But but that was my stepmother's favorite grocery store. She'd always make us go in there and somebody's going to end up catching me. But anyway.
So the moral of this story is you had delinquent tendencies at 10 years old and you were able to think to give them the false information so you didn't get caught. That's the moral.
It was like 13 or 14, but my stepmother was, less than stellar, and I had to come up with very creative ways to avoid her. So she was training my brain for that. But
I understand. Hey, I get it. We all have demons.
So speaking of, and this is what I'm going to have to say, what I'm going to say is going to take a little bit. So if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. We can, like I said, we'll get into other stuff next week. So yes, let's hear all the volleyball tournament.
Yeah. So 3-day volleyball tournaments. We're just going to say that they didn't play as stellar as maybe they should have. It was very long 3 days. The girls at times played their hearts out, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is a victory, and I want to talk about a tragedy. So the victory at this tournament, there was a setter. Do you know what a setter does in volleyball?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was one setter.
So I know, but what if somebody don't know? So what does a setter do, Eric?
The setter is the person at the net who's setting the ball to the hitter so they can destroy it over the net, right? They're responsible for pretty much the second hit of every single,
of the 3-hit volley.
Yeah. Thank you. So a girl got an NAIA, which is this, I think it's right below D3, an NAIA scholarship as a setter at the tournament. She's one-armed.
Wow. Really?
One-handed setter. Got a college scholarship.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, you and I sit here and we're going to bitch about everything in this world. But at the end of the day, maybe, I don't have enough money or this and that and the other thing. And, and I raised my kids okay. I mean, they ask for things here and there, but when my daughter told me that, I was like, man, alive. Just like every single freaking like Rudy and Seabiscuit and all those other things. You see the movies, but you never really see it in real life. And to see that was just freaking awesome. And to everybody out there, whoever's listening, you just let you know that no matter what tragedies or anything that you're facing, or if you feel like you can't do something, I promise you can do it. You just got to you got to want it bad enough. You have to want it bad enough. And if you want it bad enough, you will keep going until you get it. I talk to people a lot throughout the day who want to make more money, and anybody could be a millionaire. You just need the knowledge on how to do it, and you need the drive to keep going until you get it.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's got to get out of their comfort zone, and you need the knowledge and the drive to know how to do it. And there's not no one way. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. It's just you don't have to don't settle, and don't let your family members talk you out of it.
That's it.
Because sometimes our own worst enemy besides ourselves is your buddy next to you, or your girlfriend next to you, or your husband, wife, because misery loves company.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, people get in arguments at home. They bring the negativity home from the office and everything else. And you got the people who are just being assholes at work and just don't want to be there. And you come home and you take it home with you. And then it creates arguments and everything else. So anyway, all right. Last thing I want to talk about. So this is absolutely awful. So we had the volleyball tournament. Obviously, there were people from Tennessee, Chicago. No, this was in St. Louis. So Tennessee, Chicago, Wisconsin, Iowa, all over the place. So on Saturday night was the first day of the tournament. So on Saturday night, we came home. Sunday we played. Monday we played. Monday we're sitting at dinner. My daughter and I, we always go have sushi after the volleyball tournaments. But the coach sent out an article from Saturday night, and I want to read you this article and see if I can get through it. Here we go. A volleyball team from Murfreesboro, Tennessee is returning home for a weekend tournament in St. Louis without one of their teammates. Janae Edmondson was critically injured in a crash downtown involving a driver who failed to yield, according to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. The crash took place Saturday night near the intersection of St. Charles and 11th Streets, which was right by the convention center where we were. Police report the driver failed to yield, collided with another vehicle, and then struck the teen. Edmondson was standing on a sidewalk. Police reported no serious injuries involving occupants of the vehicles involved. The driver, who also failed to yield, was arrested. This is a hard road for a young athlete who last week committed to play college volleyball at a local D2 university in Tennessee. Janae Edmondson lost both of her legs and were amputated at the hospital.
Oh, man.
She just signed to be a college athlete. She's going to have her college paid for.
And her life changed forever because somebody failed to yield at a traffic light or stops or yield sign or whatever.
Yeah, the guy was going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, blew right through the yield sign. Car hit that car and just sent that Audi SUV tumbling through the crowd. There's a video of it on my screen, and I will not share. A bystander was recording something and caught the crash. If you want to check it out, you can go to fox2news.com. It's the St. Louis news station. They have the story there. But yeah, man, you just never know, right? That could have been us. We were walking around downtown, me and my daughter, walking around, checking out the sites because we don't go down there a whole lot. But man, it's crazy to think how everything can change in 2 seconds. And I'm sorry to get all mushy. I'm supposed to be the fun and lighthearted guy, but as a father, I mean, my 16-year-old, she has hopes of playing college volleyball. She's really good, and she probably will. But to think, I mean, I can't even imagine as a parent, the family was with her on the sidewalk.
Oh, man.
They had to watch
So they were basically just walking through downtown, because the tournament was over for that night. So they were kind of just sightseeing, so to speak.
Yep. And then there's another article, and this is why St. Louis gets a bad rap, and it should. There's a lot of crime downtown St. Louis. I think we're number one in the country per capita murder rate. It goes between us and Detroit. But the rest of the news story were just other families and other volleyball teams complaining about people running red lights and, a city bus hopping a curb and almost hitting the whole team. Like, what the hell? And we shouldn't have to watch where we're going. We should follow the street lights. And if we're walking on the walk signal, we should know that we're not going to get hit by a car. Right.
Yeah. But man, I felt I feel sorry for her and her family. Not that,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. Prayers out to her and her family.
Yes.
Our volleyball team donated a ton we all pitched in, and we donated a bunch of money. She's got a GoFundMe out there.
Hey, what's her GoFundMe, man? We need to put that up. If anybody watching this wants to donate.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen. I'll put it up on the screen here in just a little bit when I edit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put it at the end of the show. It'll be at the end of the show.
Yeah. So if feel free to donate. I think last I looked, they were about 30,000 of the 100,000 they were looking for. And I'm sure as the word spreads among the volleyball community, because I'm telling you, as painful as it is to watch some of these tournaments and be around for 3 days, I mean, you could be talking to somebody from across the country and they're your best friends because it's such a close knit community. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. A lot of those high school sport, golf, volleyball, or in baseball and everything where they travel a lot, they're like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we got to play in the Dome here in St. Louis because, we don't have a football team to use that Dome. So we use it for.
Hey, got to get
That's
some
right.
use out of it.
Well, we have the Battlehawks for the XFL. They'll have home games here in that Dome. But anyway,
I saw them on. How did they do this weekend? I saw them.
They won because of the weird XFL rules. So I really quick. So they were down, I think 15-3. They scored a touchdown, which was 6. But you have a 3-point conversion where you can go back. I think it's like 15 or 20 yards and try to one play into the end zone, and they got it. So it was like.
Oh, so 12. you got like an extra point kick. You get a 2-point conversion, and if you want a 3-point conversion, it's got to be from like the 25-yard line or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like the 15-yard line, I think. So they got that. So it was like 12 to 18, and then you can choose to either kick an onside kick, a regular kickoff, or convert a 4th and 15 play. So they chose to try to convert the 4th and 15 play, and they did. Then they scored a touchdown and won the game like 18-15.
Wow.
And that was all with 1:36 left in the game.
Excitement there the last 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so in XFL, because I caught bits and pieces of it, but I don't know a lot of the rules or don't watch it like I do football. So I could come and say, you know what, I'm going to try an onside kick, but I would prefer to convert a 4th and 15 play to see if we can keep the ball.
Yep. That's from what I understand. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, in the XFL, and I would love to see some of those rules in the NFL. That'd be awesome because the onside kick, I'd like to know the percentage of that. It's got to be less than 10, 5 maybe.
It's got to be low. But yeah, that would be good. Hey, we don't want an onside kick. We want to try 4th and 15.
Yeah,
and you do it from basically an onside kick is allowed to go 10 yards for the other team can touch it. So hey, you do it from the 40. So if you don't get it, then I get the ball on the 40.
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look up the rule again. I don't know, but I was like watching just a highlight reel, and they were showing at the bottom the rule as they were showing the last minute and 36 seconds of the game. It was pretty cool. It's pretty intense. So anyway, all right, man. Well, we're going to talk about Chinese balloons next week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Chinese balloons next week.
Great.
Some of the underhanded things that they're doing. So, we'll get into that. We'll get into that next show because it's really funny that Biden and them came out and said the balloons were not, there was not a threat. I believe it was. He put it off on maybe it was just some. He actually held a press conference and said it. They've determined that it was maybe some businesses, just taking topography pictures, etc. I'll get into this and I'll leave it at this. The Pentagon actually said they have not ruled out UFOs and aliens. I was like, really? Come on.
You're going to get us killed. Oh, my gosh.
So wait a minute. The Pentagon said that, though. They publicly said that. So
you're telling me. You can cover that. You can cover that on the next episode. Because if you go any further, I'm afraid those guys will show up at my door with the mind erasers.
The men in black.
But yeah, we'll look forward to learn about Chinese balloons. I'll bring some more fun and crazy shit. And we'll catch up next week. It's been fun, Tim. Great talking to you as always.
Yes. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that follow button and subscribe on whatever social media you're catching this on.
Yeah, we're putting our social medias up throughout the episode. You'll see those, and you can always just, if you have a question, again, info@grumpyoldmen.com. We're always here for you, but until next week, Tim, it was great talking to you, man.
See you next week.
All right, bye.